320981. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you got it?
I didn't enter my numbers, but I'm good. So now we're recording. There. Thank you, Shelley.
All right. So, let's just take a couple of big, deep breaths. Allowing, I'm stuck on that emotion ocean thing. you're just taking a few deep breaths and just allowing ourselves to anchor and root deeper. Take all of that energy that's moving and really root it into gratitude, into Gaia. And I'm not doing the heart resonance. I'm just kind of setting the place. And Grace, I'm looking at you. I think you would just be fantastic to open our call this morning.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So welcome to our Good of the Whole Monday call.
Mhm.
We are in a midst of a lot of movement with the full moon, and there's a lot of initiations, and there's Linda. Welcome. So with that, I'm just going to let Grace open our call with some resonance, which would be fantastic. And then we'll come back into some of the conversations and do a quick check-in with everybody and make good use of this time here together. Good, capital GOOD.
All right, well, let's begin just settling in, pulling your chair, closing your eyes, and just taking a nice deep belly breath together. Breathing that love from the ocean we've been talking about today in through your heart. And then as you exhale, just sharing that ocean of love with each one on the call and to anyone who listens to this call. And breathing in love for yourself, filling yourself up, nurturing your heart with unconditional love. And weaving in the heart connections for the good of the whole. Being here, gathering together as our hearts share from our heart space. Feeling that divine wisdom coming down within our circle. Feeling connected in love. And just feeling that heart resonance, resonating love and compassion for ourselves, for each one of us on this call, and for the whole world. Just taking one more nice deep belly breath in. And as you exhale, clearing away anything that doesn't serve you in this moment. Be fully present on the call. And then when you're ready, just begin to open your eyes and just look into the beautiful, loving eyes of this call.
Yum. Thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome, Linda, Dinama, everyone. So, so the energy keeps moving. And so I've stepped in to host this call this morning. And with that, simply we are one unified whole here. And we're learning, these two calls that have happened already this morning, for me, are really hosted by the essence of good of the whole. It's a choice to come forward, a choice to have, this morning the calls have been about really courage to challenge, courage of really that full acceptance of who we are. And I love some of the conversations this morning about really understanding this garden of life that is constantly renewing itself and at the same time dying off. Really understanding that that's a lot for a human body to take in. And so this practice of heart resonance, just being a restorative practice, really learning how to keep coming in and softening and opening. And so the invitation is to bring that into this call, because there's a lot, and we will do a quick check-in, but I want to kind of give us the bigger picture. This is what's coming to me, and I feel very, very a little bit teary. So, and I'm not being redundant, I just want to like pull some big threads. So the big threads are, Good of the Whole has been this incredible seed for many years, trying to seed herself in our consciousness, and going through different crystallizations of that, her finding herself, her voice, through Julie, through myself, through all the different people that have been part of this, and now each one of you. And and really the growth spurt, that's how I want to see it, as not a launch, but a growth spurt, because of all of your focused attention. What came together was this full manifestation of its expression as a collective and as individually. At the same time, it's a shift for Julie and myself as the main holding the whole, but actually Julie from the beginning, Julie, and then I came in, and so almost holding it as long as her, and then each one of you as you've come in. Mm-hmm. And with that comes recalibration. And sometimes those recalibrations are challenging, which is funny, isn't it funny? This whole coming in with, and here we are in the midst, we decide that, or it decides it's going to fully create it, begin its blossoming in this time of 2 full moons and a super full moon that we're heading in. So if we can just simply remember not to be taking a lot personally, that this is the recalibration that's happening on the planet, it's happening on Gaia, and it's happening in us, okay? So I preface that because I really want to bring in this understanding of, what's been showing up, the individual expressions, having to create graphics, which I don't think many people understand. To create one graphic can take almost 2 hours, all these little things that some of us think are little, it's a lot. And it's a lot on our learning curve. So just to remember, we're in a learning curve. And as we come into this call today, because there's some really definitive things that have been coming up, to have compassion and love and understanding, and also what's really important here, and has always been here, has been a transparency, a sacred, safe space. Okay, so and I just want to say I'm holding, the past 2 weeks have been very challenging on primarily Julie, and I want to really honor her on this as we begin this call. She's the one who's been doing, I can do graphics, but they're not perfect because I'm not using Photoshop and I'm learning Photoshop. She's doing it all, and that all is actually, it has become kind of overwhelming, not just for her, but for me and each one of us that we're all doing so much. So with that check-in, to allow for a supra honesty and a willingness to really, Good of the Whole is about listening to the emergent field. And that means that we have to surrender our personal agendas to the agenda of the whole. And so I have no idea, I'm honestly saying this with no idea of where we're going today, knowing there's some things that need to be cleared so we can move forward, and some things that have happened individually, bringing some of our own individual things forward. So with that, let's take a deep breath, and we're holding Glenn and Marion in our field with us. Marion couldn't be on, and Marion, hi, we love you. And Glenn is doing some regenerous call or something. So we are holding you in the field, and we carry that trust in the greater knowing of this voice. So with that, let's open with a little sharing. Oh,
And
Julie.
Quincy and Anita.
Oh,
And
Quincy, I do that all the time. Why? I apologize.
Anita.
Okay, Quincy, I apologize.
Quincy.
Anita, I apologize. I have this like, okay, so that's not good. So I apologize. Quincy, I'm taking a breath with you. And Anita. Right, I'm going to text Anita right now. So with that, I'm complete. Thank you. Love you.
This is Shanti Hart. And so I listened to what you said and I heard it. And I want you to clarify, since you brought up graphics twice, and I had contacted Julie about graphics. Is this what this is about? So if it is, then let's go deeper into that.
Okay,
That's all I
so
was-
remember before I even said that, I said this is about anything personal. And if something personal is coming up, it's just for us to breathe with that. Essentially, what we're doing right now is we're just sharing, we're checking in. I brought it up because there has a lot of taking in and composting. It's not just about, if you're thinking it's just about you, it's not. So to let that go, to actually, so right now it's just simply, Shanti Hart, it's just a check-in and allowing, there'll be some things that get brought up. Obviously, we're going to talk about love lives here, and we're going to talk about what needs to be happening. But honestly, just to allow for a check-in and I felt it was, I'm trusting the voice that it wasn't really important to, like, I'm asking Julie to do a lot of graphics too. Has nothing to do with just you. Okay. So it's not a personal affront. It's just simply, we need to understand as a whole being what goes into launching, whether it's our own individual offerings or it's an offering as a collective. So
I wasn't taking it personally, and that's all I asked was, are there other people that have been asking her to do graphics? And my check-in is, it's all good. I'm having a great day, getting ready for the full moon. Nothing else. That's my check.
I won't. I'll check in, I guess. The last 6 weeks, the last 8 weeks, probably the last 12 weeks, and if I'm really honest, the last 16 weeks have been full on for me. And, it's fascinating to have the unexpected drop in your lap and try to make sense of things, because I always try to look for the deeper meaning in what's going on in my life. And so here, this recent surgery was this perfect example of the things that I have to look at. But I think I hit a real depletion place, a real fatigue place after the surgery. And it was really quite interesting that in one day, 4 people texted me and said, I know that you're resting, but could you just do this for me? And so what I've been doing is really what it feels like in my experience, and knowing is that when I signed on with the universe to hold this collective field and to really bring forward good of the whole, I agreed at this deep cellular level to do this, and so there's this part of me that doesn't want to be a martyr and say, oh my God, it's too much. So I just keep holding. So what I've been really holding is one piece, and then the doing is so much different. And so it's not just graphics. I mean, graphics is like this much. of my overwhelm or my fatigue or my the noise in my life right now. When we've launched the Global Heart Resonance, and when we launched the 7 days of rest, and when we launched the Revolutionary Happy Hour, those programs within Good of the Whole were a lot. And I was an administrative assistant and a graphic designer and a webmaster and a, I could go on and on and on with all the tasks that were at hand, because I kind of just am holding that, and I share my resources with Good of the Whole. And that's how it's been set up. I don't get paid to do any of this, and we don't have a lot of income, and I've subsidized Good of the Whole for a very long time. And so part of that is sharing constant contact. Instead of us engaging in a $70 bill, we brought Good of the Whole in. And so I'm doing the emails, and I'm doing the autoresponders, and I'm doing the letters. And there's a lot to that. I mean, and I love every minute of it. So part of me is like so excited. And I wanted to just celebrate the growth, like Shelley said. Instead of a launch, it's just a lot of growth points. There's a lot of blooming and blossoming and things unfolding. But in doing that, it is a lot of work, and it's a lot of time, and it's a collective asking. It's this collective thing of all these things happening. And even Linda's 15 emails, and now I got her email saying my 15 people are ready to go. And it's like, the back end of Nation Builder is not easy. And so I go in to enter Linda's people, and they're already in our system. And now I got to figure out how to shift them into members, because the way I would have done them, they weren't already in our system. And it's real easy to do it when they're not in the system. So 2 of them, my first 2, boom, boom, were already in our system, which means they probably liked us on Facebook, or come in, or looked at the page, or they whatever, doesn't matter. So anyway, it's a lot of things. It's not one project. It's not one expression of Good of the Whole. It's just holding all of that. And to just be really transparent and honest about my experiences, that I'm not doing my own programs. I'm not doing my own expression in the world that's just mine. It's not, I'm not getting to be my creative, juicy, full of life self. And so it got to that point of just being very depleted with that, and ready to go with so many fun things that I've been creating, but not having that pulled apart place. So I didn't expect this call. I had my agenda. Damn it, Shelley, we'll have the good, and then I'm like, Shelley, do you want to run the call? I have no idea why I did that, but obviously I'm tuned in. So there's my, my deepest pain in not creating from my heart the things that I'm called to do and bring forward. So with that, I love everything that we're doing as a collective. I love everything about Good of the Whole. I love everything about all of you. I love everything about all these expressions, because it's so beautiful. And we need an administrative assistant. It's that simple to me. We need an executive director or an administrative assistant, which means we need fundraising, which then again, it's like, oh God, then I got to be the fundraiser. And then if we launch the Love Lives Here, who's going to do this and this and this and this, and who's going to do that? And that's where I go, because I've been really tired. So there you have it. Thank you, Shelley. Shithead. No, just kidding. I'm complete.
Let's all take a deep breath. And, ditto, Jules, ditto. The call to let those parts of ourselves that are out of balance energetically, that are stomping on our self-care and our self-love, those patterns, those beliefs, those urgencies. I mean, I feel like each one of us carry that, and we're being called in our own way to bring the balance, the energetic balance, to the core. That's the key to our sovereignty. And just like in any growing family, the imbalances are not sustainable, period. And so each of us has to decide what we, consciously and mindfully choose to give, with self-compassion at the core. I feel like this is the greatest work we're doing right now, is our own self-love and presencing ourselves authentically. I think each one of us has a challenge in our life right now that means turning some things upside down or recalibrating, at the very least, to create from that place of balance, that calm courage. So I feel that is really what is in the field. And Gaia and our bodies, our cellular consciousness, our submission to the greater good is bringing us, just, without discussion, this is it. Pay attention to this. Love this. Speak up. And perhaps our patterns have given others permission to in other words, we've behaved in a way, I feel I've behaved in a way that created a certain liberty and assumption. And well, it's always been going this way, so just let it go this way, even though there's the knowing that it's out of balance. And then how do we bring it into balance? And of course, first step is speak up and let it be known. And let's really address it, or not, take it off the, either do it or let it go. Because that's what I feel the field is asking, is that's the message. Presence ourselves and be sovereign and speak up, authentically, even though it may disrupt whatever. So, I'll count that as my check-in and recognition that it's time to be mindful and really create what it is. Because I know this hub is powerful. That's why I'm here, spending my whole morning with you guys. Because I know, especially at this time with this moon and supermoon and all this other jazzmarazz going on with the divine feminine and the cosmos, this is powerful. And what we decide and choose and where we put our attention is hugely impactful on the good of the whole. That's my truth. And so from there, that's what I'm looking forward to doing together this morning or afternoon. Anyway, I'm complete.
Dinam, you said some great word, the jazzamarazz of something or other, of all that we're going through. And I just have to put out a note of gratitude for what good of the whole and what these individual parts have been showing up. So thank you, Shelley, for creating the Global Heart Resonance Call and really coming out there. Thank you, Julie, for making the website so beautiful and understandable. And to Marion, I was on that first revolutionary call, and so I'm able to be here and be present. But my check-in and what's been going on here is really quite remarkable. There have been so many people that I know, women in my women's circle, clients of mine whose husbands have just died from a unexpected car accident. Another one had to have a brain tumor operation, and it's not looking good. Another one was diagnosed with lung cancer, and now it's spread through her body. Another one had surgery on her neck. Someone just came to me with a tumor, a 23-year-old. She's got a tumor in her brain and her kidney. Somebody else's mother is in the process of dying. It's like there's a lot of sickness and major trauma and diseases happening. And I am so filled with gratitude, and I just thank God every moment that, okay, here I am. Thank you, God. I'm healthy. I'm okay. I'm strong. I'm anchored. And I'm just holding all of these people because they're in touch with me, every hour of the day. And it puts things in perspective. It really does. And I think when we're going along, and everything's fine, we can forget that how much it is, even if I'm fine, how much it's being taken from other people, what it takes to go through surgery. And Julie, I just really, my heart is feeling your excitement, but yet your exhaustion. We are still, as much as we reach for that higher vibration, and we know that we are bigger than these physical bodies, we're still in the physical body, and we still feel the effects of it. And so maybe the moon is helping, because there's such a range of emotion going on. There's like elation and new growth, and yet there's exhaustion and sickness and sadness and accidents and surprises. All I'm saying is, I suppose in my check-in, is that there is a sense of great gratitude and not being overwhelmed by all that's happening. Now, I don't know what the magic of that is. I don't know if it's truly that I'm living in the mystery and I've surrendered and it's not about me at all. It's just about being present, being in service, and that's what's coming up. So not being overwhelmed, I think, is a true choice that we make. And if we, at least for me, if I'm really choosing to stay anchored and grounded and not go into overwhelm, I'm more effective. Now, as far as like the email that went out quick yesterday, I just took it upon myself. I hope I didn't overstep anything, but it's like, okay, these people, I'm just gonna make my donation today, and these people are waiting. So it's like, come on in. I was kind of hoping they might jump onto the heart resonance call, but at least maybe they can catch the next, revolutionary happy hour, and to be part of Good of the Whole. And I said, it's kind of like I'm just preparing them. You want to take advantage of 3 months, do it. I mean, I sent an email to everybody. Grace, I don't have your email, so I'm sorry I wasn't able to put you on that as a copy. But send a message over to this in the chat and let me know your email. So there's people that I'm gifting. There's 17 people now that I'm gifting a $15 membership, which is, I'm not doing $15 each month, but that $15 per person is going to cover 3 months of like a trial introduction. And I just jumped on it. I thought, if I just take care of it, now that there is something on the website that, it's like we're putting the meat on the skeleton. And when they go to the website, they can actually see what the Global Heart Call is about, what the Revolutionary Agreements is about. And Julie, I know, and what, I don't know what Love Lives Here is about, but I said, we want you to be part of it. you know, and even if they get a banner. And Julie, I mean, I know that you have, your book is ready. You have so much to give and so much to offer, and it's just kind of like simmering there and waiting. I know it's coming. I hope you can be patient. I'm trying to be patient again with my contribution to Good of the Whole, in what that might look like as my expression, or yeah, what I'm going to offer. And right now I'm getting ready to teach the Revolutionary Agreements. That starts the beginning of March, and I'm also doing the Game Changer Intensive again, which is starting really tonight for me. So, you know, there's just a lot happening, and I think what from this call this morning, just to be patient and know that things die as things are being born, and we're just in it. You know, there's nothing that I need to do. I just need to be aware of the life that's coming through. I know it sounds kind of simple, but I think it's really key to being able to handle a lot of things that are going on. So that was quite a check-in. I know I might have rambled a little bit. I'm sorry, but I am complete.
Good afternoon, everyone. For me, just had some breath work experience yesterday, and my computer crashed, so I can't be doing computer work. So one level very deep, but another level just dealing with the stress of life. So Julie, I feel sad that you've been overburdened. It's still my second call, so I didn't know the history. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm here to be open to contributing my gifts, whatever that might be, to the good of the whole. I'm complete.
I'd like to make a longer check-in now because everybody else did a longer one, so I'm going to do a longer one too. Okay. So what I've been experiencing, no, I'm teasing you, Linda. I was just trying to make a joke. What I've been doing while you were physically doing all of that was doing it more emotionally and psychologically, and doing it. There was a lot of resistance happening, and then it was like a breakthrough of, okay, how am I going to get, then when I saw the wall of resistance, how am I going to get over this wall of resistance? And then it was like, just stop, just allow whatever's there. Love the wall, love the resistance, allow it all. And the second that I shifted that, all of a sudden, it was like the wall wasn't there, or there was a door, and things started moving again. And there was an energy that started again. And so I've been able to then now go into my deep work that I do. And I really strongly been noticing lately that we all made this agreement to be here together. I mean, I could just see us. We were all up there like, okay, yeah, okay, I'll see you then. All right. Okay, I'm going in. All right. Okay, go. And we all just took off, and we're like, we just knew we were going to be together, which is why as we've met each other, it's like, oh, hey, it's so great to see you again. And we are right where we're supposed to be, doing right what we're supposed to be doing. And I also feel, because I've heard so much talk about ascension, and I realize, yeah, we are evolutionaries, and we are aware of that, but we have to maintain the 3D connection, because we're the link to all the people that are 3D that don't know about the ascension. So by the 3D is the common language that we have with them to connect with them. So we can share like Julie did, and that was so beautiful that and it was perfect that you handed it to Shelley and she brought that in, because we wanted to be part of that, and it's good that we were part of that a beginning of an opening for you. And that's our gift. And so again, as we all do, take a deep breath and just allow where we're at. And every time you feel frustrated, just allow that to be. And all of it. I'm saying that to myself and everyone. And I am complete now.
Breathing some fresh air. Yeah, I just feel like we're the emotional body of Gaia, and she's going through a lot, and so we've got to be willing to play our parts and our roles. And so yeah, I'm just feeling a lot of love here. I think it was important. Sometimes we just do have to stop the role to like, just come in. And for me, my check-in is I've really had 10 days of beautiful experiences with Bob and Noel here, and then Pamela Duran, which was just magical. Every moment, just magical. And at the same time, my emotional body was going crazy, because like, different than say Julie, like my body was going like, Shelley, you got, like, hello, you can't buy food next week. Let's get going, like, and the universe is like, no, you just sit in this kayak and let the wind blow you and take in what you're being gifted, and know that, and so that was a really interesting 10 days. And also feeling the push and the pressure, like my body came in here in pressure. So I tend to bring it on, and I'm really learning how to actually not, kind of be able to embrace it and laugh and go, okay, I get it. There it is, more like a fascination. There it comes again. So, I feel that, it was a lot to say yes to the 7 days of rest, and and then move into the global heart resonance, and get my physicality adjusted to finding that rhythm, because it's a rhythm. I feel like it's a rhythm, and I have a tendency too, like my body, in human design, I have what's called the whirling dervish channel, which is it's the yes channel. Maybe Julie, you have it too. And it's just like, we just keep saying yes, oh yes, sure, yes. And there's a point where we have to really be able to move slow enough to go, wow, because I'm seeing myself going like, how can you just told another person you're going to take on one more thing, No. So again, learning, it's a practice. And so made it through the 7 days of rest. And I just want to share that. I mean, I'm getting messages that things are shifting. Like I got a message from Henry Lepler. I feel like this is part of my share, like, who said, I became a mentoring steward, but I don't know what happened because I put $10. He must have come in at the switch of the $10 and $15. And so we need to check that out. But that's not why I'm saying this. And then today I got another message from Kathy Roberts. Oh my God, you guys are doing such amazing stuff. I'm going in to donate to Good of the Whole. I see what you're doing. So I feel like these are the little messages that are saying, and just today being on the Heart Resonance call, when a few people shared, and it was just like, just broke my heart open, like this is why you say yes, because, and it may not be looking like the way you would love to have it all together and those pictures perfect. And oh my God, last night I stayed up till 4 a.m, like getting that together, so I feel like I'm having all the experiences that we're talking about, and I can take another breath and drop in. But the transparency and sharing what we're doing here is so important. And the other thing for me is, and with Julie, I was kind of riding on Julie's tails of having a program that I wanted to put through. I kept waiting to put it through Good of the Whole. Like, just listening, like, how can I do this? It's a type of different shift to create programs and put them through good of the whole. And it takes working with your ego. Sorry, it's just like exactly what is coming up in, I'm speaking only for myself. Like, how do I do that? Oh, how am I, when Marian said to me, hi, Marian, oh, well, I'm, 10%. Oh, look at that. That was amazing. I was just talking to you, Marian. So when Marian said to me, and I took it personally in myself as not as a bad thing, like, oh, more than 10%. And I looked at how I had written out this event that I'm, this offering for Valentine's Day in 5 weeks. And I had 10%, and I had to take a breath and again, bring it back into myself and say, okay, what would it be like for you to offer, you don't have to go to 20%, but what's 15, and meet that edge of trust and growth. So I want to honor our collective voice as good of the whole and the things that have come together so far. And I feel, to relax into that and to trust that. So I'm in this place of, I just put out last night, Love and Money, the whole integration. And it's an offering of dowsing, feng shui, movement, and art. And that's a whole, I've done it before, but not quite like this. And I just feel like that's the universe, like me saying yes to that rhythmic, come on, you can do this, and offer it. And for me, I just kind of decided, and not everyone has to find, a dolphin pod doesn't all become leaders at once. If they all were leaders, we'd be going all over the place. But one, it's just like it comes in like this, and the next person comes like it. And if we can trust that movement. So I just said, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it through good of the whole, and I'm going to offer 15%. And I'm going to do, this is a new thing for me. I just decided I'm going to do this as a donation. I'm going to give a suggested love donation. I've never really done that before. I thought, oh, well, let's just try it and see, can I trust that much? So that's my share for right now. And I'm really happy. I'm happy that no one's going, I got to get out of here or jumping out, but just simply being with this, recalibration so that this voice of the collective can really manifest in a way that really works for the good of the whole. So I'm complete. And Marian and Glenn, it's your turn. We're all just checking in, and then we'll kind of move in on. Take a breath. Take a breath. Take a breath right here. You're on mute, love.
I heard Glenn say, okay, bye on his call. And so I moved over. So yeah, we need to take a breath. I've had a very busy morning dealing with stuff around my mother and this certification from the ICF for my program for next year. It's beyond. I don't know if anybody here has ever applied for ICF certification, but it's like applying to medical school. It's unbelievable. It's expensive and it's time consuming, and they make you jump through fire hoops. It's ridiculous. Anyway, that's where I am right now. So I thought, well, I can't finish it anyway, anytime soon. So I'm going to take a breath, connect in with my beloveds, and yeah. Yum, yum. Sorry, let me give you some good energy because I'm taking it from you right now. There. That's my check-in. I'm here. I'm present now. I'm in love with you all and life. I did have a big epiphany this week. Oh, thanks, Linda. I did have a big epiphany this week. So I have been asking the reverends and others and myself, if all is good / God, then how can there even be any negative thoughts in the world? Like, if all is good, how can there be negative thoughts? Well, I finally got my answer. Would you like to know? Well, it's what we all know. It's the way we see things. It's not about what's out there, a negative thought out there. So if I truly know, which I do in this moment, that all is God and all is good, all, then that's what it is. Even what somebody else might call something negative. And I got it during our CSL service yesterday. And it was like, boing! And afterwards, I had this friend of mine come up and just start going, isn't it terrible what's happening with this and Trump and Washington? And, I'm on this warpath and rah. And what I loved in that state of getting it is that what he was experiencing was absolutely perfect for him. Totally, completely. I honor where he is. And I see it as good. And I shared that I'm having a different experience and that I know that all is good and in perfection. And that feels really good to me. And that I honor where he is. So I feel like I had this huge shift, and I think that's important to share with you, and that's it for me. At you, Vinny.
Well, you can see Marion's been working it. So I've been working it too. So we've launched Regenerous, this new social impact company, and today we were deep in discussions on how we're going to make it financially viable for people, and it's unique. It's amazing. So we, how do we create teams of teams that collaborate for the good of the whole? And that's, it's what we're all about as well. So I've got a new title in my life. I'm called, the universe has titled me Community Builder. And so I'm sort of settling into that as a space of where I'm at in my life. And, so I'm building a new kind of community that is really working for the good of the whole. I'm just participating with you guys and all we're doing. And it's like everything I'm doing now has to do with that.
And everything he did before had to do with that too.
Had to do with that too, I guess. And now it's just more clear. So it's like, okay, I'm getting it. It's little humans. It takes me a while. So life is exciting and good and fun. And I guess I had a new question on Sunday as well. It was like, what's mine to do for the good of the whole? So that's something I'm just sitting with. And I think that's maybe a continuing questioning conversation, maybe for a long time. So I'm complete.
Maybe for our whole lives.
Whole life. Woohoo.
Continuing. So just so that you guys know, I'm hosting this call, but I'm going to, after this next piece, Julie, if there's any pieces that need to come in. So I want to, last time we came together, there was this conversation about Love Lives Here, and it's really the next big piece that of the whole for us. And given that we've had this whole conversation and understanding, being overwhelmed and pressure, last week Julie brought up, and we had been talking about what would it be like, again, to make Love Lives Here be a part of the 40 days of awakened reconnection. So far, that seems like what it is. Julie, come in when I'm done. So, and with February 14th happening, with the Valentine's Day thing happening, I want us to really, after this conversation, to really invite us to look at what is the best way for us to bring this forward, and honoring and listening to Julie around a little bit more information around this 40 days of reconnected awakening. So there is, I guess I want to drop in this one other thing, which is, okay, February 1st through 7th is, there's some of us that are involved in the Global Interfaith Harmony Week, okay? I decided personally I can't get involved with an everyday kind of thing. I just need to settle in, and I want to settle into more of what we're doing for good of the whole, plus get my own programs out like Julie's talking about. And Julie does have a program that she's bringing out. So with that understanding of less pressure, overwhelm, and trusting what is really good for the whole, can we take a relook at trying to put it out for Valentine's Day? Even though it looks like perfect, I think it'd be good just to hear from Julie and really understand the dynamics that it's going to take to put out Love Lives Here in a way that it's more collectively received. As an example, like even with the Global Heart Resonance, it's been an amazing feat to kind of get it going, and it's pretty well, there are definitely some kinks, and I'm trying to get some documents done, but really it's still not being shared out by the good of the whole. It's like me going in and trying to invite people and getting it out to different groups, and maybe each one of you are doing that, but my feeling is, and it's not anything's wrong here. It's just it's a process of getting used to, oh, wait, so on Sunday night or first thing Monday morning, I want to spread that out so people can have the availability of having that experience. On the same thing with the Thursday call with the Revolutionary Happy Hour. It's important that we're all engaged to create that. It's not like, to try and go and get people. It's actually to create a container for people to come in and have this experience and be helped and make a better world. So I felt like it was important to bring that piece in, because that takes a little bit of synchronization to make it really work for the good of the whole. So with that, Jewel, I just want to pass it over to you to share into the field so we can take a look at this and really come to a deeper understanding and at this point an agreement of what we feel and is important to do, and also to allow for the transparency. Everyone's going to have different feelings about it, and to allow for that, just to give space for the conversation, and then we'll come to, and it's a little bit of a slower process, but be willing to do that. So I'm handing this over to you, Julie, just to kind of share into the field where things are sitting with that, and also Shanti Hart to hear from you, and then we can kind of go, okay, let's take a real good look at this and what really will feel good on our emotional bodies to put it forward, because it's amazing. Love Lives Here is what we're modeling and working out. Over and out.
Well, what I tried to express last week about Love Lives Here is that it could be this individual campaign versus tying it into the 40 days. And as an individual campaign, what that needs is a lot of coordination and synchronization, like Shelley mentioned, of what are we going to do to really get this out of there and launch it. So it's not just a little blurb on Facebook. Is it a blurb on Facebook? And if it is just this little blurb on Facebook, then that's fine if that's what we choose Love Lives Here to be. As far as the campaign part, it will have its other elements. It will have everybody doing their own pieces, like Marion mentioned last week. Wow, what happened with Love More was Marion going to the CSLs and doing tons. And Linda started doing it with every group she had. Shanti started doing it with car shows. And I mean, it was like we were all doing that. Shelley was doing it on all of her calls. And all of a sudden we had this really beautiful tapestry, and which is beautiful. And if just bringing the campaign out for awareness is the end result, then that's enough. It's seeding the field. It's seeding our consciousness. It's going out into the world. I don't think that the goal ever needs to be a viral campaign of any sort. I don't think that's the goal. We would love to speak to the masses, like we were, I don't remember who said this on the call just now, but speaking to, it was Shanti Hart, of coming into the voice, of bridging the voice to the masses. And that's deep in my bones. That's my call, to be here on the planet, to bridge that. We were talking before you came on, Glenn and Marion, about the ascension, and a lot of that languaging totally disconnects with those that need to hear it, because it's a lot of times so far out there they don't understand, and they shut down or close off or whatever. So to be that bridge to mass consciousness is a beautiful thing. To have a meme go viral is the wrong intention. It really is to seed the field in with deep cultivating the field, so that it's nourishing soil, so that every seed that we're dropping has a better chance. And so saying that, I know whatever we choose to do will be perfect and beautiful. On my part, what I know to be true in 14 days till Valentine's Day of launching this, if we choose to do a campaign, we don't have an organized plan. Who's doing what? How are we going to do that? What all we need? What I do know is what I feel. And after last week, I felt again was like, okay, Julie, here's your list of things to do. Now, what do what is mine to do for the good of the whole? Well, if I'm really holding this, there's a lot of tasks that are on my plate to do. One of them is resizing all the graphics to go into yard signs, to go into whatever, redoing. And I don't want to feel like this martyr thing that I don't want that seated in this call at all, but literally redo the website, get it going. Who's going to organize a social media campaign? Who's going to communicate with other people? Do we want to invite other organizations and groups on? I get fired up when I think about the 40 days, and it came so clear to me in my vision that I can do that, and I can do my piece that's a part of the 40 days, and I'm really excited about that piece, and I want to bring my creative juices into that piece. So when it's tied into a larger campaign that's 40 days of awakened action or 40 days of awakened reconnection or whatever we want to do, I've already been working on that for months, visiting with people, talking to people, and doing my part to bring that forward in a greater expression. So I don't know if that answers your question or speaks to what you're asking me, Shelley, but I'll just share that for now and then just leave that open, and I'm complete.
Yeah, let's just open it up. Let's let people share and see where we go. And ask questions. If anyone has questions, ask them so that we can get clear.
I perpetually have questions. Because something new is always popping up. It's like, okay, now what is this? So Julie, you've been talking about this 40 days, and it's been talked about in many different ways. Awakened action, awakened reconnection, or reconnected awakening. I've heard that in this call today. So my question is, what exactly is this something that's like 7 days of rest, only it's 40 days where something is happening for all 40 days? And that's a lot of work for you to do. If you're coordinating 40 different events for 40 days, that's a lot. So I guess I need a little bit more clarity, if you can offer, unless you don't have it yet, of exactly, wow, what's going to happen in those 40 days, what's mine to do in that, and is that supposed to start on February 14th, or is that the question? Maybe we're not ready to have that start then. And when was the intention to start it?
This is the part that's dangerous. Not in the way that you're thinking this is dangerous, but we talked about this on the call last week. And I kind of brought in the 40 days campaign starting on the equinox, on the spring equinox. And the part that's dangerous to me is that as co-creators only meeting 90 minutes once a week, there's a lot of time in between. And I literally brought a lot of content last week that answered all of those things. And here we are again. It's like next week, yeah, Shanti's got notes. So to just answer that call, the 40 days that I've spoke about for 4 months now, when it came to me and its completion was called, a 40-day campaign called Reconnected and Whole, 40 Days of Awakened Action. And that's very different than, and I don't know the reconnected, awakened reconnection, or whatever you just said. That the third term I have not said at all. The one term that I have said is 40 days of awakened action came out of the Reconnected and Whole campaign. That's a 40-day campaign, Reconnected and Whole. And I did the graphics, I did a video, and have it's an unsummit summit. It's just like the 7 days that came up, and so it kind of put ours back on the back burner. But it is a summit-like feel that's not a summit. It's engaging a lot of different people, a lot of different organizations. It's really highlighting so many, 40 at least, people who are doing amazing work on the planet as individuals and organizations. It's having these conversations. It's educating. It's inviting people in. And to me, it doesn't overwhelm me at all. I'm like, yes, I will do that, my part on the spring equinox, and get that rolling, because those are the pieces that feel like a full expression of my gifts to bring into the good of the whole. So the other name that you've been hearing was last week when I said, can it be Love Lives Here, a Love Lives Here campaign? Can it be Love Lives Here? And if it's the Love Lives Here campaign, and we're combining and converging this beautiful meme, Love Lives Here, with the intention of the 40 days, then all of a sudden, in a renaming of that, in a allowing that to recalibrate itself, then all of a sudden we have this Love Lives Here, 40 days of what? And so for me, that's like 40 days of awakened reconnection. It's like this is the 40 days wants to be bringing reconnection and connection to the planet, like bringing the awareness and the ethos of wholeness to the mainstream in the reconnected to self, reconnected to others, each other, reconnected to the divine, and reconnected to creation. So those 4 pieces are what has been the anchor of the 40 days for a very long time. So that was my question. My inquiry last week was, can we bring those 2 things together and not launch on February 14th? And so I'm going to go back to the danger of 90 minutes 7 whole days ago was a long time. And this stuff is still germinating and sprouting and blooming in so many different ways. And we're all doing our pieces and our parts and our wholeness. And so learning how to weave this, we're like, we are rebirthing and birthing and recalibrating so many beautiful expressions right now. There's so much beautiful stuff. Since we met last, Marion had her first revolutionary happy hour. Woo! And it was awesome. And now we've had 2 Global Heart Resonance calls. It's been awesome, or 3. Was that 3 or 4? That was 3. Yeah, the 3rd. It's beautiful. Like, these expressions are beautiful. My expression, I'm wanting to do a weekly call for all the mentoring stewards. And it's called The Whole Connection. And I've got the video out there. You've all seen my video. It's like, how do we empower one another, and how do we support one another in our own pieces to bring forward to this? So I think that just in answering that inquiry, Love Lives Here is either this, what's come forward so far, very separate than the 40 days of awakened action or awakened reconnection. or we bring that together and look at how we can bring that together and what does that really mean. And if we bring that together, irregardless of whether we bring it together or not, I would love to invite all of you into a greater expression within the 40 days, because there's roles for all of us within the 40 days. And to me, that can unroll itself and emerge in exquisite ways. So with that, I don't know if you can even see, my energy gets so excited when I'm thinking about that versus, wow, 2 weeks from now, okay, who's going to do this, 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 which I know it feels like, to me, it's always like, if I don't do that, then who's going to do that? And then who's going to do this? And have we even thought about that? And so to me, there's that's a part of my overwhelm versus my joy. So there, putting that out there, and I'm complete.
Okay, all right. I did have one question about, remember, I think it was back in, well, before pre-surgery, pre-holidays, you had put something up on the website and we had looked at it. I'm asking Julie this, and it was links to order signs and all that, and then you pulled it all down. So are you saying that, like, just to put that back up, we have to go in and you have to change the graphics to the way it is now, because we made a different more multicolored hand? So that's the process that has to be done for that. Otherwise, that it's ready to go because you had all the other details. Okay, that answers that. All I ever thought it was, the Love Lives Here was just like the Love More was just out there giving that feedback of those things. And I thought it was going to be signs and posters and things. So I didn't really think it was calls or groups or anything else other than people just start using it and spreading it around, just like they did with Love More, but only more so now because we're bigger now, it seems like. Okay, so that's all I was going to say about that. But and when you talked last week, Julie, you did say another way to tie them together was 40 days of awakened reconnection, ground the force of love. So then, that ties them. And really, I mean, Love Lives Here goes with everything. It goes with Heart Resonance. It goes with Revolutionary Happy Hour. It's Love Lives all those places. So that's what I have to say about that. So then on the 4 facets of the 40 days, the self, the others, the earth, and the sacred, were you thinking that each one of those would be focused on for 10 days, and then we would move to the next one, and then at the end they would all be together? Or is there going to be a bits and pieces of all 4 of those things for all of the 40 days? And are you thinking that there's going to be calls or meetings or things scheduled for people to participate in, like the Heart Resonance calls where people have to get on Zoom and participate in something? Or is it an opportunity for the community to just share what they're doing in those departments? Like Grace under self could put something about breath work, and Linda could put something about Pachamama under earth, and so on. So there's that question about that. And yeah, and the other thing is, as I know it's hard to hold your mind still for a second, Julie, as this is all going, what about if you're making a to-do list, and what if some of us could do some of those tasks? I mean, you're right, I don't know how to do graphic things, but maybe I could do other things, and maybe we could all be helping you more if you told us specifically what you needed. And that kind of goes for everybody, I guess. And maybe it's time to call in, like you said, maybe it's time that before we do any more of anything more, we get the administrator, the graphics person. Maybe we need that person to make all our dreams come true. And So I'm complete.
I'm going to jump in. So those are great questions, and Julie, you can answer some of them. So if you remember last week, because I think it's really important, again, it's just us, Julie, I mean, I want to say that it was done really fast, Julie, and it was hard to even take in, because it was like, because I think part of it was your energy and your upset was you were going very, very fast when you were describing the 40 days. But Julie did put up, she showed us up on the screen, remember? She showed us all the, 10 people this, 10 people that, 10 people that. So there is all that, and it's not necessarily time on this call to go through all those details. But I think this is the field. I just want to speak. This is the field coming forth. Like we come up with this really great idea, and it's like this big, but the field is going, actually, if you just like, it's this big, and it incorporates, I think, for me, when I'm listening to you, Shanti Howard, and to everybody, and to Julie, I'm like getting like, well, obviously part of what Good of the Whole is to create is to be a container for people to self-organize. And yes, Good of the Whole needs to have an executive director. There is no question. So maybe the question is, do we fundraise first, and go into the 40 days? But the bottom line is that, that it's wanting to be, it's not just about putting posters out. And for some of us that were really involved in Love Lives Here, it was an incredible bleep to coordinate, to watch what happened. And I still feel it's actually part of the Love Lives Here. I mean, it'll be pulled through, but it still was a bleep. It kind of went vertical or horizontal, kind of went this way. And what we're wanting to happen, I feel like with Love Lives Here, is to create, like as Julie was saying, this coordinated efforting that is each one of us deciding what is ours to do, and to, we definitely have to have this executive director. So I think as a collective, before we end today, it's really important that we all just have a circle and call in this person, be it a volunteer, be it that we pay Quincy, be it that, but that actually what's happening is this recoordination, so that we can create the funding for this person, because this person is like really a linchpin for Julie and for all of us to have, that. That's all I'm going to say right now, and I do know that it would be good to probably just spend a few minutes on membership. So Jules, do you want to respond to Shanti Howard, or anything that's your feeling, or and anybody else?
Yes.
Well, the notion of 40 days for me is kind of overwhelming. I'm looking forward to wearing the Love Lives Here t-shirt and having the coffee cup. And I was even thinking Love Lives Here on the bottom of the coffee cup. So when you tip it up, it's like Love Lives Here. Would be kind of cool. And I'm thinking how I can integrate Love Lives Here into the work that I'm doing with Regenerous also, in terms of that. So it's like my mind is playing, okay, how do I model that, walk that talk, and be that? And then maybe if it's 40 days of stuff, not just 40 days, but like ongoing, like what are the spontaneous eruptions that have to do with love, living here, and what's mine to do and making a difference in the world? I don't know, but the notion of 40 days of just focused, continuous stuff is kind of overwhelming for me to think about, just in myself. And of course, I have you goddesses are like capable of all sorts of stuff. And, us guys, I'm kind of a linear kind of a thinker, and it's like, okay, what am I doing now?
Excuse me?
Well,
linear?
Linear? I don't know, whatever it is. What? I'm trying. I'm working it. So where I've been, I need to just do a little journey here. So where I've been with the 40 days, and I think I've said this, Julie, maybe privately to you in emails and so on, is I support you no matter what you're doing. And that goes for everybody on the screen, the best that I can. What that means to me logistically is I would never send out more than one email a week to my group. As it is, I tell people they're only going to get about 2 for me per month. So I don't want to overwhelm
my opt-in list. So that's kind of a logistical thing for me. Now, of course, when somebody registers for something, like if they register for the 40 days, then they'll get something every day. And that's fine because they've registered, same with happy hour, same with resonance calls and so on. So that's fine. But I've had this journey with the 40 days that's like, first I wasn't entirely sure what it was, but it didn't matter. I support you. And I support Good of the Whole. And if we can be helpful in whatever way we can be helpful, I will be. Then, Julie, when I saw what you had last week, it was a big wow. But it was a wow about what the possibilities are, how you're organizing it, what's coming to you, your inspiration. It wasn't a wow of, I can't wait to get involved. It wasn't a wow of, oh, this is it. This fills me. It wasn't, I mean, other than the support I feel, I still didn't get it. Let's put it that way. I'm open to, but I still didn't get it like physically in my body that this was, I was ready to take off. Now, when you put Love Lives Here in front of it, it like transformed for me. And it transformed into something that, it's my words now, became a demonstration, a 40-day demonstration of Love Lives Here. Now that's the way I interpreted it. I don't know that you ever used that word. And then I got excited personally because, wow, we build habits that way. So what if for 40 days, everything I do, everything I say, every project, every person I connect with, however we connect together, we're seeing how love lives here, how I demonstrate love lives here in my life. That gives me the God bumps. So that's what happened when you connected the two for me. I got something happened to me physically, spiritually, that before that, I just wanted to be supportive, which is really a big difference. So that's my report.
Oh, and the Love Lives Here thing is, well, that's really easy to take into the CSL community, for sure. And geez, that's bigger even than Love More. I mean, I think it really resonates in that community.
I could see it too. It came to me as Shanti was talking, I think, that I could see bringing that campaign into CSL, into at least our local CSL, if not many of them, and probably many of them, and Danama's shaking her head. So I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that. It makes me smile. And so if there's a 40-day campaign and you see a way, Julie,
sure,
of getting other groups connected. Oh, something that came up to me when you were speaking. I had this wondering if one of the master launchers, like the people, I'm thinking of one man specifically, who is known to be the master in launching new programs, new campaigns, if he's ready to like give his time and expertise to something as good as Good of the Whole to help with formulating the appropriate steps for a launch that is really effective and far-reaching. And whether it's this year with this or some other year, that's just what came to me. That's all. Anything else?
Exactly.
I just wanted to add one more thing. I don't care when it happens. Love Lives Here is already in the universe, and when we start using it with Good of the Whole, is the right time. I mean, originally, Julie and I talked, and she's like, well, what about, I'm like, okay, well, Martin Luther King Day, that popped into my head. Then you guys said, how about Valentine's Day? I mean, it could be the 4th of July. Well, probably not, but I mean, it could be whenever we're ready. It already exists. And the video that we're making will go up on the website. It'll just be a little thing when it starts. It's going to be awesome little short video, and then I'm going to gift them, the I Grow Chicago people, the 3-month thing so that they can start getting involved. So that's all I really know about my part. If you think I should be doing more to make things happen, or you can think of other ideas of what I could do, let me know, because that was it for me.
I love the when we're ready part.
Yeah, that shouldn't be stress.
Julie, I thought earlier when you said, and this is dangerous, because somebody asked you when or something, I thought you were going to say, well, I'm going to give it a date, but because that puts so much stress on the system. Now, maybe for you, that kind of stress is good, so I don't want to take it away from you. However, for me, like with the certification program, when it was ready, then I offered it the first time. And if I had given myself a date, which I did initially, and I did get super, super stressed out because the technology wasn't ready. I mean, so stressed out that I can remember it right now. And I said I would never want to do that again, ever. Like, because I wasn't in control of getting the technology ready. And that's a piece of this too, isn't it, Julie? So, you know, it's like taking the next step and the next step and the next step. And when it's ready, we go. I don't know if that works for you.
Okay, I'm jumping in because I'm just watching the time, and I know people are going to want to get off. So let's just hear from Grace, Linda. Linda, we've kind of heard from you. I don't know, but and Dinama, just get their let their voices come in, and then I think we're kind of all on a similar page at this point. You guys want Grace? You want to jump in?
Just literally my second meeting. I feel like I'm just trying to get my feet wet, so I don't really think I have a lot to say, except because I don't know the history and stuff. But for me, just listening last week when I was on the call, and this week, I like Love lives here for me. I've already actually talked to my marketing person, and we're having a happy hour at my place. It's a Love Bubble happy hour, and so we were going to do Love Lives Here on the 16th to help promote this and do a little face mask, a house with a little heart, and put our face and then decorate it, all different sayings or whatever, and put it on Facebook and stuff to add to that. So we were already, me and my marketing manager, were already planning of how can we boost this into our my tribe, into the Facebook tribe, how to get it out there. The 40 days it was so overwhelming for me last week because it was my first meeting. It was all this coming at me. So I couldn't take that in as much. The Love Lives More was more simple for me to understand. So I don't know, just be here for this second week, as far as that. And I will offer my service. My computer crashed. Apple told me it would be 7 days before I get it back. So I can't really do anything without the computer immediately, but I'm here. And I agree. I feel like don't feel pressure to put a time date on it. Let it evolve. And if it's not ready by February 14th, wait till spring equinox. I don't think they're there. I mean, for me, but I don't know the history of all this. So I'm coming in just week 2. So wait till it feels like, it wants to blossom and not be forced. You can't push a baby out, and nothing good ever comes when you push a baby out. It has to actually, come out on its own.
I resent that remark.
What?
I had to be induced twice. They decided that I had to be induced twice.
Oh,
yeah. So, like,
okay, so
nothing ever good comes out. I don't know. Dina, you want to jump? Leap in?
Yes, I do. I have so much that I'm feeling. Yesterday, I just kind of blew all my circuits out. I was doing Northwest Seasonal Workers tamale sales. We were having a board, an annual meeting at CSL. And I just went full bore all day. And the day before, I was with my grandson, physically more active there. I just was done, just. And I realized that the energy that I have, that I'm already giving in our resonance co-creation, is just about all I can give in terms of being on all these different events, physically showing up and supporting as many events as I can. I'm already feeling on overload. And I know, just like Julie, something has to shift. There has to be a balance. The field will accept nothing less, is how I feel. And so our heart's desire to be physically connected and supporting these things, maybe that's our part, and perhaps it's living love into the field which is what I feel is calling me into active, spiritual activism, I guess you'd call it. And knowing that what I'm doing for the whole of us, I bring the whole of us into the field of where the activism is happening. And just like we've encountered, there's various ways to live that belief into life. And so I feel that I'm right in the field with all of us as a living being, permeating the field with this consciousness, this home frequency, this being our true essence, showing up in that calm courage. That's where we're living it into life. And that's the part I feel I'm being called to. And bringing all this awareness into that active field. I feel the angels, I feel the elders in the community being drawn in. I see the magic happening in this organization that's quite, has these very strict ways of being to adhere to what is good for the whole of us. And it's a beautiful understanding of how to re-teach the collective consciousness in a very step-by-step physical way. And then also the call to live that way with each other and ourselves. Anyway, so with all that being said, my commitment to support in the membership area, I'm still open to. If there's something there I can do. But I feel that that's about the maximum I can commit to in terms of being present. You'll notice I'm not on all those messages on Messenger. I just can't. I'm otherwise my attention is being called. So anyway, that's my heart story and my love. And I am here to support you. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm done.
Linda, any final additional pieces?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody who has contributed to my questions, which are much more clear now. Thank you. And to just a reminder that that word simplicity, keep it simple. Simple always feels right, even though there's a lot of excitement and a lot ahead. I think if we keep it simple, can you imagine your next door neighbor who's just trying to find out about good of the whole for the first time and they want to jump in? If we are that bridge to reach a new consciousness, then we can't make it so complicated for them that they go, oh, it's overwhelming. So keeping it simple so that they can actually hold on to something that awakens them into action is really important. And I'm here in support and loving you all, and whatever you need, Julie, other than being executive director, call on me. I do feel like I sort of jumped in on my own accord so I wouldn't bother anyone else and just take my group and do what I did. And I think each one of us just taking responsibility and doing something that's for the good of the whole, is what we do. So I love you all. I don't have anything too much more to say.
Good. Thank you. All right. It's really time to close this call, and I just want to drop in a few droplets. So this has been a really beautiful, important call. Like, I feel like we're all energetically on the same page. We're all in our different places, but we're all energetically on the same page. And it feels to just relax a little bit and let's listen to how we can create the most effective visibility of Love Lives Here. And obviously we're just living it ourselves. I feel like for me, I want to read Grace's workbook so I can learn really more about you, Grace, and also maybe we can talk about sharing it with others so that we can all kind of know, we know each other, but you're wow, you got really bombarded. You're amazing. I love you. The universe knew to bring you in. It's amazing. And Shanti Heart. I want to invite people just to really help us build the Good of the Whole community page, because since we've moved over, a lot of people have been left over at the other Good of the Whole page, but not the community page where we're really adding the events and sharing. So if this week you could just a little presence there, and just, whatever you're sharing off your own personal pages, if there's something that pops for you, share it on Good of the Whole community page, and go in and invite people to come and visibly see this. And that would be really helpful as we begin the Love Lives Here, it's not a campaign, flowering, whatever you want to call it. So, and I think that's simple. And maybe just for now, let's maybe just deepen the roots of the things that have already begun to manifest, and look at how we can support Shanti Heart and begin to build this Love Lives Here, and let Julie sit with it and see how she's feeling about after this call. And Julie and I have definitely stepped forward with the first two offerings. At least, Julie's, I'm reading about what Julie's doing, the beautiful compost. She's doing a woman's 3, you can talk about it yourself, Julie, but the 3, how would you call it? 3, I'm losing it.
We're calling them women's forums. There's 3 forums before the Beautiful Compost program.
Okay, thank you. So if you guys could support that, because at least in mine, and Julie will, Julie doesn't even need to, because she's already supporting Good of the Whole more than any of us. So I'm going to take whatever this offering for love and money, the whole integration is a donation only. It's a suggested love donation of $222, and that 15% will go towards Good of the Whole. And we'll be having more conversations about how we can get, really focus in on having a managing director. And maybe we're backing off. So, it seems like it feels to me, in listening to everybody, and call me up after this call if there's an issue, but it feels to me, let's let Love Live Here grow itself, grow its roots with the 40 days, and begin to actually, really feel what those pieces are, that people can be in their communities really getting involved with the Love Lives Here. It feels like it would just be way too much pressure on all of us to try and do that on February 14th. It feels like I'll own it for myself for sure. So, and if there's any issues that come up in between, just send an email. Just keep just send an email. Say, hey guys, and just pay attention to those emails. There aren't hardly any that are going out, but if there's something important, just put a note. Good at GOTW. Please read. So that we can all be alerted. And we'll come back next Monday and just see how it feels from that point. Is that okay, Jules? How does that feel to you?
Yeah, the thing that I'm hearing today, more than anything, which is a beautiful intention, is to create a container for self-organizing. And to be really real about that. We are a volunteer organization right now, and we're being really invited in to this incredible opportunity as all volunteers right now. And so that's a lot. It's a lot to hold. And so I'm just hearing to continue to create this campaign. To me, it's not complicated. It will be simple, and it will be an opportunity that we invite in to self-organize with lots of ideas of how to self-organize, and just an encouragement of, it really is 40 days of grounding the force of love. If we go back to that, it's 40 days of how to ground the force of love. And how do we ground the force of love? Connection. Like, we love the earth. We love each other. We love the divine within all of us. We love ourselves. So that's what I'm hearing today. And I'm really enamored, a love word. I'm enamored with the idea of grounding the force of love for 40 days and inviting people to self-organize within that. So anyway, I'm really enamored with that. Thank you. I'm like so.
One more thing from Dinama, and then let's just take 1 minute and have a moment of silence, and we're all collectively putting out the magnetic resonance for this person to easily come in and for the resources, supply, God, good, to come in and make that happen, because that is really the number one.
Amen.
So, unlike me, I was wanting to know, say, a ballpark dollar amount, say monthly, to if we needed to provide some sort of, sustaining income for this person, and also for, say, like an assistant administrator, like if your daughter was interested, just so we'd have that to hold in consciousness as, a monetary amount that we might be able to raise or commit to ourselves or something, so that, you have been funding this, Julie. So I just felt that would be a good piece of information.
So let's have that on the top of the agenda on next Monday when we come, because Julie, we've already talked about it, and she already had been working on that. So yes, you tuned in. Yeah, are we good? Good to go? So bye Grace, we love you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we love you, thank you so much. Let's just do a little moment of silence, gratitude and appreciation. Really sending that warmth and reciprocity. Aho. Thank you, everyone. Anytime you want to help on a call, just step in.
Julie, can you stay on for a few minutes? Do you have a few minutes to stay on?
I go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I can stay on and run really fast.
Okay, Julie, take it off of record.
Take it off of recording.